Hi, this is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. Today is Tuesday, August 28th. This serves our chart lesson for today, and it was just another kind of slow, choppy range type day, and just not much going on. Um, I marked the best trades that I saw. There's always, a lot of times, there's always other trades in the middle here, but they're really risky because you see if you tried to get short, then it reversed. If you tried to get long, then it reversed. So you're better off just to wait till it hits the lows or the highs of the range and go with that. And that's my that's my thinking anyway. And really, this should have probably been up right along this area right here, and then that would have alerted you that we may not quite be there yet. Um, for going short right here, but you really get the most touches right along there, but um, nothing wrong with having it just like that right there. And you probably would have had this down here to start the day off, but later in the day when you had these two bottoms right across here, you should have moved it up, and you can see right there that that kind of held prices the rest of the day. So I normally don't like to use a trend line off the previous day, but you couldn't ignore this one right here, especially when we touched it again and then we broke higher and failed. And even if you didn't see that, you definitely should have had your highs right across there because that was the close from yesterday. And you can kind of see that that's exactly where we went to and then reversed. And you really have a bunch of overlap here after two legs up, and then we broke higher and failed and turned down. So that was a nice short. But I was looking off this trend line, and I was also looking off this what I'd call a double top right here too. So there were a couple of reasons to enter there. Didn't know how far it would go. So rather than risk it, I just went ahead and took a full scalp on this one and scalped out. But I did re-enter when we bounced and the bounce failed and we went lower. Excuse me. So when we bounced and turned lower, I was looking for a second leg down. I was looking for them to retest this low, and that's exactly what happened right in here. Went a little lower than I expected, but once you start getting this overlap, it's probably wise to exit, especially away from the EMA. And there was actually a long right here if you wanted to take it. It was a little risky coming out of all of this overlap. We had an entry similar to that yesterday out of here. If you took it, there was, as you see, there was a failed second entry short. But what you got to notice is that we weren't back to the EMA or the trend line yet, so it was a little bit risky. It was definitely risky. You definitely didn't want to go short out of this. If anything, this is a long because these are the lows of the day, and you're testing these lows here. So a lot of people get confused with that. I got a reply from a guy that was actually tried to, I believe he was trying to short this right here, and you see we got two legs. There's leg one, and then there's leg two, and you really got a couple of measured legs by the time you get to right here. But what this guy was doing, he was trying to short this right here, and there's just really not a good setup yet. This is a bearish bar, but really what this is just kind of a breakout pullback. And then I think he was also looking to go long here, but you don't want to go long here for the same reason you don't want to go short down here. You got all this overlap, and we aren't back to the EMA. You really kind of had a short-term trend line like that right there, and you can see we're breaking the trend line right here. You could have been thinking long right here, but after two legs up and then a failed break on that, this is basically a two-legged move and then just a trap to the long side. Here's the trap. This is not a trap right here because this trader asked me, I always try to take these traps. Well, you might have been thinking it was a trap on a break above these highs or something, and it could be looked at that way, but that's a really bullish move right there, and so the odds are they're going to take another stab at it. And when it went higher and immediately failed and turned down, then you could have gone short. So you just can't be too eager to enter, or that's what's going to happen to you. So that turned out to be the high of the day. And then we had, this was a fairly simple scalp right here, and then we got hung up, and then we had another leg down. And again, you got your overlap and then a failed break lower. that tested these same lows from earlier, and then we went higher. So there was a long here, again, because you got this overlap and then a failed break. And you see that little doji right there? You definitely don't want to be going long or short below that. What normally happens is prices will break one way or the other and then trap people and then go the other way. So this was an iffy long, but I liked it. I wasn't sure what we'd get out of it. I figured we would at least come back and test this high, and it looked like that's all we were going to do and go lower, but it worked its way on back up, and eventually we got to the high again and tested it, and then we sold off. But it was so risky. Like I said, there's some entries in here. Here's a failed second entry long that would have given you enough for a short, but you see how hard it was to get out of that. I actually took this trade and got stuck in all this and exited when I got one of these dojis here and got a tick or two, but it wasn't really a good setup, and so I didn't mark it today. It's better just to stay out. You could have looked at it like you were getting in at the highs right there, so that's a possibility. And you see, again, it did work. I didn't get a full scalp out of it. If you did, good job, but I let them shake me out of it. But I'd rather exit and look for another entry than give them any of my money, so that's what I did. And I was really tempted to go long here, but I didn't go long here either. And then by the time you got here, you're really getting back too close to all these highs. So even though that worked as well, that was not a bad entry. I probably should have marked that one. But there was just so much overlap and there wasn't much happening. Prices were flip-flopping each way. It was better off just to wait till we came back up here and tested this high. And it's really late in the day too. I mean, it's almost 2:30 by now. So again, that's another reason to reconsider this trade. But it was a good trade. It came off the high, so I marked it, and it would have worked easily for you if you took it. So, and again, it's just a range day overall. You got a short-term trend line there going up. You probably had one going down about like so. And let's see, going back up, got one right there. You broke it, went back and tested it, and sold off. So, and then by this time you really couldn't even hardly get a trend line anymore. So it's just too choppy. Hopefully you can see that bigger picture. That's just a trading range right there, and I'll back out, and you can hopefully see that. And we spent the majority of the day from say 9 o'clock. Just after 9 o'clock till the close, between 14:07 and 14:12. So you can see that's about a 5-point range, and there's just not much happening. It's hard to make money in those small ranges like that. So, but I'm not going to drag this out today. Again, there's just not much happening, so I'm going to wrap it up, make it a quick day. Hope you had a good trading day. Maybe tomorrow will be better. I don't know what later in the week is going to look like around here. Most of you know I'm in Mississippi. We got a hurricane headed this way. I'm far enough inland that I don't have to worry about the hurricane, but they're talking about strong winds and a lot of rain and things like that. So we'll just have to see how it affects us here locally. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up and call it a day. And if you don't see me one day later in the week, whenever this thing passes through, you'll probably know why. Because of the hurricane. Any other reason, I'll be here. But anyway, this is Matt with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.